Hey guys, it's Carrie from Conversations at Carrie's Corner. I wanted to come in today on this Thursday, and I want to talk about something that I think is really important that we have seen happen a couple of times already with our current environment. I think probably more than just what our election recently showed us, but more than, I'm guessing, about 80% of the country is done with all of this woke stuff. All of this crazy cancellation culture and wokeness. We're just tired of it all. We're just tired of all of it. And I go back to what happened with the boycott on Budweiser and the boycott on Netflix, Taylor Swift, ABC, to name a few. And today I came across an article from one of the best journalists in the market, Megyn Kelly, and she really is a true journalist. You know this because she makes both sides accountable. You know her position, but she doesn't let her position and her belief system interfere with her ability to do the news. That's what the people that let her go didn't get. She is probably one of the finest journalists I have ever had the privilege of following and listening to. And she is an inspiration to me. She really is. As somebody who studied journalism in college, who had at one point some news aspirations herself, Megyn Kelly is truly a journalist. So she was doing a show today where she was talking about an actress by the name of Rachel Zegler, I think is how you pronounce it. She is an actress that is in a Disney movie, a famous Disney movie that we just all love. And today she put a post out basically telling the next president of the United States to go F.O. Wow. 20-something she is. And two things came to my mind immediately. She's got to be liberal and woke. And she's got to be young. Because older people, even if they disagree with Donald Trump, if they're true Americans, they don't act like that. They don't make spectacles of themselves. And they don't dishonor our country and the positions in our country like president and vice president. I called out the vice president on her shortcomings and her policies because I knew she was not the right candidate. Don't want any ill will to come to her, but she just was not the right candidate. And you put yourself in that position when you run for office. So, like the Vice President of the United States, I am a senior model and an actor. And when you put yourself in a position where you compromise a portion of your audience, there's repercussions to that. Especially when you say things vulgar like that. So, one of the most powerful things we have as Americans and consumers is our dollars. Where we spend our money, who we support, as we saw with the Budweiser boycott and the Netflix boycott and the Taylor Swift and the ABC boycott. These were millions and millions and millions of dollars that these companies lost because they pissed off a great deal of the American public. It's our way, our voice in demonstrating our unhappiness with an entity, because the way we control how we support people is for what companies we're willing to put money in on. Now, Disney is one of those entities that's been around in our homes and in the fabric of our lives and our society and our communities for a long time. But I think you would have to agree that Disney has changed dramatically. And a company that gave us Little Mermaid and Winnie the Pooh and Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, all these fantastic characters, two amazing places to go for your children, unbelievable movies of which I have a massive collection. But sometimes in life, you have to make a stand for what you believe in, what you're going to do, how you're going to live your life, back up your words. Boycotting is a great way to do that. I'm going to boycott Disney. As much as my children and now my grandchildren love those movies, I can't in good conscience, because of their political views, their conduct, and now their employees, I can't continue to support a company that doesn't even consider my point of view. Well over 80% of the American public expressed their view in the election. And companies should be very careful about how they present themselves and not isolate anybody. I believe you have the right to think whatever you want, support whatever candidate you want. You don't support Donald Trump, you don't have to support Donald Trump. But when you start to do things that affect my life, that's when I have to cross the line. We can agree to disagree. That's what the world is all about. That's what this podcast is all about. The ability to discuss rationally, intelligently, calmly a different point of view. I choose to spend my dollars where companies don't affect my life. And unfortunately now Disney is one of those who I cannot in all good conscience support because of the conduct of an employee. I'm a business owner, and I can assure you, if one of my employees did not represent me in the manner in which I demand and the philosophies of my companies and my business, you would not be an employee. Employees are a window into the owner of a company. If an employee doesn't support a company's point of view, they're not going to be part of that company, right? So the only logical conclusion that I can come to is that Disney employs people that are going to tell a former and future president of the United States to go F.O. That's unacceptable. You don't have to support Donald Trump, but you have to respect the presidency. You have to respect the processes in this country, our republic, and the processes in which we conduct our government, how we elect people, how our government runs. You have to respect those things, because if you don't, then you don't respect America. And I'm not okay with that. My family came here 50 years ago, left our homeland, Australia. We were going to be here 5 years, and we're here 55 years later. I'm passionate about my homeland. I wasn't born here, but I'm passionate about this country and what it stands for. And I am not going to stand for or support companies that don't honor how things should be done, or who participate in the rhetoric of hate and division and violence, segregation, and those companies who think it's okay to shove down my throat their philosophy. We all have choices. We all have choices. And my choice is that until I can see that a company is operating for all citizens, left, right, center, then I'm not going to be part of those companies. Because that tells me that they don't respect the other parts of the community that don't align with them, and that's not okay. So I'm boycotting Disney. And if you feel insulted by how they conduct their business and how they allow their employees to conduct themselves, and you're not okay with it, maybe you should boycott Disney too. And any other company that is not willing to stand for all Americans. And there's a lot out there that don't. Lowe's comes to mind too. It's time we take back this country, and we sent that mandate very clearly a week ago. But it's our responsibility now to hold those people and those entities accountable if they don't honor all Americans' point of view. All of us. It's the only way we're going to, as citizens, stop the division and the hatred in this land by calling those people out who do that. The Schumers of the world, the Pelosi's of the world, the Houstons of the world, Oprah, Julia Roberts, George Clooney, Jimmy Kimmel, Robert De Niro. I could go on and on. I choose not to support those entities any longer because they don't support my point of view. I don't expect them to agree with my point of view. I expect them to respect it. And there is a big difference. They don't. So until I can see that they do, I'm withholding the one thing that I know will get their attention, my money. I hate to be that way. Disney is a beloved brand. I have 30, 40 videos. And they will end up in my burn pile. Because I just feel at some point in your life, you have to draw a line in the sand. It becomes a watershed moment of what you believe in, what you stand for. I think a lot of us are there. I think this election has been a catalyst for a lot of us to get there. We all have a right to our own opinion. We all have the right to support whatever we want. But when it comes to commerce, every American should count. Not just those that align align with me politically or in any other way. I'm not going to impose my opinion on somebody else. If you disagree with me, that's okay. You have the right to do that. I'm going to respect the fact that you have a different opinion. But I expect it back in return. That's the problem. We're not getting the respect back in return. And I'm not okay with that. This is podcast number 2 for the week. I do 2 podcasts a week. And any subject is welcome here. Politics, love, family, whatever. The table is open and anyone is welcome to join. And I would love that, actually. We are going to go, hopefully very soon, to a live format where we can get people to call in and participate, because I would like that too. The only thing that I ask is that it's always civil, respectful, and appropriate. That's also part of what's happening in our country today, is so many things are inappropriate. And I have a problem with that too. Respect me and I will respect you, and we can have any conversation. You never know. You may sway an opinion, and I may too. And that's okay. If we can come to the middle and have a conversation, that's where change starts. That's where we take the first steps to bring our nation back together. We're never all going to agree. Humanity, that's just part of humanity. We're never all going to agree, and that's okay. We just have to get back to a place where we can disagree civilly, respectfully, and have a communication where it doesn't divide us or sever relationships and families' relationships. That's just unacceptable. That can't happen. Political disagreements should not be a catalyst to destroy a family or destroy friendships or acquaintances or anything else. You got to respect each other. You got to respect each other's positions and beliefs. If we don't, we're never going to get back to the middle. And as I've said so many times before, a nation divided will not stand. History has proven that time and time again. We got to figure out a way to get back to the middle. Talking is the best way. I hope you'll join me. That's it for this week, guys. I hope you have a wonderful weekend wherever you are. 2 podcasts a week. And I just want to leave you with this final thought. This podcast was inspired because of our election, because I want to be a place where conversation can start. And when I was thinking about this and contemplating starting this podcast, I was trying to, in my mind's eye, think of a place that was safe to go and have a conversation. And I kept returning to these beautiful, beautiful, sleek 50s diner. Remember? They were beautiful. They sparkled. They were red and black or pink and black. And a lot of people were on roller skates. And you could go into these diners, sit down at the bar, have a coffee or a Coke, hamburger or a slice of apple pie. And you may not know the person sitting next to you, but 9 times out of 10, you'd have a great conversation. Sometimes you'd even come away with a new friend or a new associate. And even more importantly, I've seen this happen. You'd come away with a different perspective on something that you thought of differently. And because of a conversation, you now think differently. That's what it's all about, guys. We've got to get back to that point where we listen to each other, communicate with each other, respect each other. Then anything is possible. And we really can bring our nation back together to be the mightiest, most prosperous, happiest, powerful nation on earth. America. God bless everyone. Hope you have a spectacular Thursday, great weekend, and we will see you next week. This is Carrie at Conversations at Carrie's Corner. We'll see you then, everyone. God bless.